Devin Pike from RedCarpetCrash.com in the cozy confines of the Lakewood Theater with the guys from Broken Lizard. Guys, what's going on tonight?
What's up?
Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
I wanted to just get this out of the way first because I know every standard interview starts with, how did you come up with the name Broken Lizard? Because there's 18 different descriptions on how you came up with the name.
Right.
So, Eric, since you're in front of me, I want you to come up with a brand new reason why Broken Lizard is the name of the troupe so we can get it out there on the internet.
We were down in Tijuana, and we had a night that went wrong, and it's a euphemism for a night that's gone wrong in Tijuana.
See, now we can attribute it on Wikipedia, so that's fantastic. Thank you, Eric.
Cited. Yeah.
You guys were all students at Colgate when you threw the troupe together. Did you start out with the theory that you were going to do films and TV scripts, or was it strictly a stand-up comedy troupe when you first got started?
Well, I think originally it was going to be a stage thing, because Jay had done some improv in Chicago, and when we put the group together, it was just going to be like, we would recreate like a Saturday Night Live feel at our college, and do some stage stuff and like some videos. I don't think it was ever envisioned to be like a movie entity, right?
No, but we were always big fans of Monty Python, and they were the only other sketch group that had made films, and so I think in the back of our minds we sort of looked at that as, you know, eventually as we started to make more and more short films, that became more and more possible. And we decided to, we made a half-an-hour film, and because I was taking a class at NYU, and then we really started to get involved in writing screenplays and stopped performing on stage at that point.
So this tour that you guys are doing is really just a return to the roots for everybody, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, it's been a blast. I mean, we hadn't, we hadn't done it in so long, and we got a taste of it at the Aspen Comedy Festival a few years ago. We did a one-act play, like a 25-minute play, about a basketball team in the 50s whose coach dies on the toilet during halftime, but they're playing the championship game, so they have to figure out what they're doing about the second half. And we were so psyched to get back out there and like have that energy with the audience that it's something we've been talking about for 3 or 4 years, getting back out there and doing a live sketch comedy show. And so it just seemed to be the perfect time to do it, and it's been awesome.
With Python celebrating their 40th anniversary this year, does that give you guys a goal to aim for, to have that kind of longevity as things go forward?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll all survive to do that kind of 45th anniversary show. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I keep seeing, there's a Python tribute show going on, and all the other stuff, and it's just a reminder that how awesome those guys were, and it always still gives us something to try to be as good as those guys.
You've got some really great talent, not just out of the troupe, but for the 3 movies you have, and the 4th one coming up, the Slammin Salmon, especially with Beer Fest. I mean, you're talking Jurgen Prochnow, you're talking Monique, you had Brian Cox and Super Troopers and Bill Paxton. Is there any one experience that you had with one of these actors where you're trying to get them into your mode of comedy, or did everybody pretty much just fall on the wagon to begin with?
I mean, I think that initially people act wackier than we want them to, because they think, oh, these Broken Lizard guys, they're really wild. But I think we tend to play our stuff a lot more straight, and so we want people to sort of just be good actors, and that's why we hire people like Donald Sutherland and Cloris Leachman. All these are great actors who are also can know how to be funny, and so it takes usually a few hours of the first day. We're a little smaller, and then they get into the groove.
Paxton was good though. He was like a method guy. So he came down and he was playing a rock star. He fancied himself like Ozzy Osbourne, and like you would talk to him and he would act like Ozzy Osbourne, like, ew, what's going on? But it wasn't the real guy.
He'd actually walk around the set or just on the beach in the place we were staying in Mexico with his guitar all the time, on his back. Yeah, he totally got into it.
Which was great because there was one night it was really dark in the resort. There are absolutely no lights, and there was just these like small winding stone paths through the tropics, through tropical jungle. And there was one night we heard him, like coming down. We just heard this huge crash, and we could hear like, motherfucking cocksucker shit, what the fuck? And he came down. He had the guitar on his back, and he slipped and shattered the guitar on his back, and he was pissed off.
He broke character then.
Hey.
Then he broke character.
He really did, yeah.
Damn it! What the hell? Put some tape down, man.
There's some lights on around here.
There's one thing I do have to ask about Beer Fest with Jurgen Prochnow, and that is getting him to acknowledge the whole Das Boot issue, not just with the glass boot, but also in the submarine.
Yeah.
When you approached him with that, what was his reaction to begin with?
He loved it. I mean, it was in the script originally, and it was we kind of shot for Jurgen, and luckily we got him, and so he loved it. The thing that he had a problem with was he would read the script, and we like phonetically wrote the German out. So like if he said stinky, we would write stinky, and he would look at the script. He's like, "What is this? What is this?" And we're like, "Oh, it's stinky." He's like, "We don't talk like that." And he's like, "Well, it's stinky." And then the other one was his two grandsons. We named his two grandsons Hammaker and Schlemmer, right?
Right.
After the mail order thing. Yeah. So he came up to us and he's like, "What is this Hammaker Schlemmer? What is this?" And it's like, "Oh, that's their names." He goes, "Those aren't first names; those are last names." And we're like, "Well, it's a joke because it's a store, Hammaker Schlemmer." And he's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." So he just. He kept having little problems with that, but it was always a joy to run into those little problems.
But he originally got involved because his kids were fans. Mm-hmm. His kids had watched our movies and said, "Oh, you got to be in a Broken Lizard movie," so he was excited about it.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, The Dukes of Hazzard really was a Broken Lizard flick, even though it was a remake of a property that, from the 70s. Is there anything that you guys want to tackle next? Because remakes are it in Hollywood right now. I figure that would be easier to greenlight than anything else. Is there anything that's like itching in the back of your heads going, God, I'd love to get a crack at this for writing?
I want to play all the parts in Grease and do a version where just the five of us play every single role in Grease, and maybe then take that as a stage show. Seriously, if we could do it, if we could get away with it, we would do it.
We also wanted to do Fantasy Island, where I play Rourke and Lemmy plays Tattoo. And
Dear God, are they demoing the theater?
We also had a desire to do Hawaii 5-0, but I think someone's doing that one.
Damn it.
And then also we were going to remake Tea with Mussolini.
Tea with Mussolini, yeah.
And Lemmy was going to do the Cher part.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So tell me about the Slammin Salmon. I've seen the trailer for it, and it's another, Michael Clark Duncan, one of the toughest looking guys.
Oh, yeah.
And every story I hear is one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. Shows up on the set for the first time. Is there any ball busting going on between him and you guys?
There's a lot. We weren't sure because he showed up. We didn't know him that well, and the character's so crazy. And so the first day he came, and he started acting. And he started improvising, and we were like, "Oh my God, this guy's really going off!" And then he just kept going off, and we didn't know when to say cut because we were afraid he would beat us up because we didn't really know him that well. But he ended up being like just a great guy. Except for there's a point where he punches Eric in the movie, and he did it for about 15 takes in a row. Even when he was off camera, he would punch Eric as hard as he could in the stomach.
I made the mistake of calling him Powder Puff on the day one, and so then he started just punching me even when I was off camera.
Tell me about the movie real quick, because we're recording this in October. The movie comes out in December. Give me the breakdown on it.
Yep, it comes out on December 11th, and basically we play waiters in this high-end restaurant, and the restaurant is owned by this crazy heavyweight champion of the world, like a Mike Tyson type guy, and that's Michael Clark Duncan. And so basically he's our boss. He terrorizes us, and then over the course of this one night, we find out that he owes a bunch of money to the mob, and so he starts this contest, and the contest is the top selling waiter of the night he's going to give $10,000 to, and the lowest selling waiter he's going to kick the shit out of. And that's basically the plot of the movie. And so it's kind of like a comedy Glenn Ross, one night in a restaurant.
Last thing, all of you have a lot of really great writing credits and producing credits and directing credits outside of Lizard. When when something comes up where Jay gets a really great get on a TV series, or Eric gets something that's really cool on a movie set, what's the phone call like to tell everybody else? No, seriously, because I'm curious about that.
I don't know that we really. I mean, it just tends to be very casual. I mean, I don't even know that we even have these conversations.
Oh, come on!
You're like, where's
when
Jay?
he was on Larry David's show, that was exciting. Particularly because I think we've all auditioned for it and none of us have gotten it.
I got it.
Oh, he got it, right. These two got it. So I was a little bitter.
That was pretty exciting until the other day, yesterday when we were were we in Houston?
Austin.
In Austin, and he and I got up at the crack of dawn to do a morning radio show, and all I wanted to talk about was Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I was like, at that moment I was not jealous, I was just more perturbed than anything else. But congratulations.
Thanks, thank you.
Very funny.